storage wagon and this thing. Well, we bought the Tryon last year, so I don't need a big harvester. I think if we hadn't had the Tryon come up in sales, then maybe we'd have ended up with that New Holland, but the Tryon came up and I have crashed into a tree. But I think, even now with all the stuff our farm is doing, we're not making huge amounts of money. We will sell, as soon as I've got a full tanker of milk, I will take that out and sell it, because that's quite profitable. There's probably something else I could sell. Oh, I could sell silage, but the best time to sell that is in about 3 months' time. Canola's next month. We've got 80,000 litres of that on the farm, so that's going to be good income. And then we've got 80,000 litres of soybeans, which isn't going to need to be sold till June, July next year. That might be good timing. I'm thinking that maybe June, July next year, we're going to be into the start of harvest again, and potentially there's going to be a couple of fields that we can harvest as contracts and then buy up. I try not... The problem with buying a field that has a crop in it is I didn't plant it, I didn't fertilize it, I didn't lime it, I didn't weed it, and so I'm taking a huge gamble on what its environmental score is going to be when it gets harvested. If it's already harvested, I control all of that before the next harvest, so it's not going to hurt too badly. Obviously, you buy a field, it's 50 points. Yeah, it's dead average on the environmental score, which pulls the farm average down, which means it lowers our selling bonus by 1 or 2%. Now, 1 or 2% when you have a small farm ain't a big deal. When you have a big farm, it can be quite significant. However, the other way to look at it is the bigger farm you have, the less impact one brand new field is going to have on your total environmental score. So, I don't know. Yeah, you could buy it early, then you make money off it, which may make up for the fact that for the next year you're going to be selling stuff at 1 or 2% lower. Maybe we buy fields. And I'm typically buying them while they're still growing, so I can at least fertilize them. I can go out with the fertilizer sprayer with the crop sensors and just run around the field and make sure at least the fertilization is good. I can't control, does it need ploughed, does it need weeds? I could weed it because we do have we have the sprayer. But I can't deal with the rocks, which is going to trash my harvester header. But, you do what you can. But the method of planting, was it direct drilled or was it just cultivated and seeded? That's where you can't control it when you buy the field, unless you buy the field with no crop. But selling soybeans in June and then buying fields is probably a better time to do things, because I can wait till I finish my harvest and then buy some fields with the money I already have. So right about now I could be buying fields with £1,294. kind of think I can't afford any. One thing I don't have is the mod that tells me how far through the contract or contracts I'm at, which is a list of, it lists the contracts to the left of the weather report. Oh, I just remembered it's going to rain in 10 minutes. And yeah, it shows you all of the contracts you've selected and how far through them you are. The only way I can figure that out is, oh, wait until we're doing 82. So we're 39%. It's not too bad, I guess. Yeah, I do have the, I can't remember, they might actually tell me on that screen, contract settings. I have contracted, you know, the approved contract thing. Actually, you know what, I should probably, I'll turn that off. Well, I don't know. What Lazy Farmers is it leaves all of the contracts available for me to do. And obviously I would like the farmers to harvest. I'd like them to leave the harvest for the first couple of days, but I'm kind of thinking I should probably turn that off. Because they do not harvest at all. If active, NPC farmers perform sowing work more rarely and offer it as contracts instead. So we'll see those contracts. I've got ploughing contracts and cultivating contracts off, so yeah, NPC farmers will do that work. Fertilizing I've taken. Weeding, they can do it if they feel like it. There's higher difficulty where you can penalty amount for cancelled contract. So if you cancel the contract, it costs you money. You can restrict the borrowing of equipment, so you have to do contracts with your own equipment until the farmer is happy with you. You've done 2 contracts for him, then he'll offer to lend you equipment. And at the end of what time period active contacts? So I think at the end of the month, if you do that, all of the contracts that you've taken will end at the end of the month, whether you completed them or not. Now, what we're doing, we've got an artificial rule in place. We're only allowed to contract 1 day in a month. So since I've started this contract on October 1, we are allowed to contract as many contracts as we want on October 1. But as soon as October 1 is finished, October 2 and 3, we are not allowed to take any more contracts. And I haven't actually stated it out loud, but I have to complete all the contracts by the end of the day. Field purchase discount, you can activate that and get a discount from purchasing the fields. So if I activated that at those settings, you could get 25% discount buying a field from a farmer you've done a load of jobs for. All we're doing is standard rewards, standard leasing costs, and I can have 6 contracts active rather than just 3. Which on this map actually helps, because if I take 6 contracts, I can set up a lap around the map doing 6 of the same contract. It's good for mowing and what have you, because I can go around with a mower, mow everything. I can go around with a baler, bale everything. And then I can go around with the bale collector and collect everything and deliver everything all in one go. I don't have to complete one do the mowing, do the baling, do the collecting, move on to the next one. So how are we doing? We are down to 41%. We are 60% done. So I think we've got more than enough liquid fertilizer in the tank to finish this field off and move on to the next one. We can get paid, which is contract 60% done. There we go. Now money be a good thing to check. So construction costs 363 and I added in 363, so that kind of balanced out. Vehicle running costs. Okay, so our lease costs per month is 2,495. I did just buy a piece of equipment that was costing me quite a lot in leasing. Property maintenance is a big thing. Production costs have been coming down. It's about 100 for the dairy and the bakery and the garden. But because I'm also running the flour mill at the moment, that's an additional cost, which obviously isn't running all the time, because for the flour mill we're only producing, as I said, we've only got about 10,000 litres of oats, was it, to grind, and then I can turn the flour mill off for the year. So I don't know how quickly we're going through that. We're selling I would say probably about 18 to 20,000 a month, and we haven't sold anything this month, so I do have to sell my expendables, and we spent 60,000 ish, 55,000 buying this tractor and selling off the old equipment that we're looking to replace. So, and again, this period is a little bit difficult because we don't have a lot of money coming into the farm. Now, next month we're going to have a ton of money coming in on the canola, and we're going to have a ton of money coming in on silage at the end of the next month. So that will see us through spring. But for spring, we don't have any work to do. Yeah, we've done the fertilization. Our fields are now sitting pretty until harvest time. I don't have to go back into them. Well, okay. The canola fields are done. The other 6-7 fields need some fertilizer. But then they're done. The grass field obviously gets mowed every couple of months, so we go in there with a mower, we cut the grass, we bale it up, we wrap it, and we stick it in the silage clamp until we either need a ton of money at a really bad sell price, or we get to the best sell price, in which case, yay, money. But I have to remember we do need a seeder next year, so I'm going to need to make sure I've got one of those, and I could do with a good mulcher and a good roller. And those are expensive. I kind of look at rollers and mulchers as sort of optional extras. They only increase the yield by 2.5% each. But when you're talking 7 fields, or 9 fields, 2.5% of yield over all of those fields actually does make a noticeable difference. Wage payment 128 because we hired a worker just briefly while I was spying on the kids. Windshield wiper's not running, so it's not raining yet, but we are due rain imminently. think what I might do for that is, as soon as it starts raining, we will fast forward time until 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and finish these the other two contracts off. Pretty sure it's getting a little misty, so the rain is definitely pending. One thing I have noted on this particular mod is the spray at the center of the sprayer. It's a little bit, yeah, you would expect, okay, I'm driving through a field here, this should be uniform spray across the full width. And that bit right behind the sprayer unit is kind of a little bit intermittent, which strikes me potentially there's a little bit of a bug there. Not significant, but it's... I mean, I say not. It's insignificant when it comes to I'm getting a uniform layer of fertilizer on the ground. I'm not having to go back and do the middle bit with one of the arms. But oh well. Okay, last row. Possibly won't need to complete all of it. Whoa. I won't need to complete all of it unless I completely miss it. How are we doing? Contract. Oh, well, it shows how much. Nope. I was going to say, shows how much I was paying attention, but actually that wasn't a thing because that message just came up. So we have completed the first of the contracts. I'll pull off the field. We've only got 27% fertilizer in the tank. I think liquid fertilizer comes in 2,000 litre IBCs, so this one pays 8,000. So I should be able to afford a couple of IBCs, or at least one. That's the problem. This is 4,000 litres, so not like I'm going to be able to put 2 full IBCs into it. Okay, once we find a north-south path here, I'm not sure it's on this side of this hedge though. Oh, it is. This should take us all the way down to the southeastern farm. Actually, yeah, this is good. There's another path to the field to our right of us, and that takes you through the BGA. This one takes you through the edge of this farm. So, with £9,900, I think I'm going to trip over to the store, buy an IBC of liquid fertilizer to kind of top off the tank. It's not going to fill it, but it's going to give us a little bit of a supply enough. It should be enough to complete the last 2 fields, which are kind of small. All right, here we are. Let's get ourselves a pallet of. We'll buy that one. So we've still got a good amount of money. I'm not too worried yet. And then we will drive down to 117, I guess. Ooh. Yes, that happened. Hard mode driving. Don't look for cars that are coming, because they'll give you all sorts of grief. Do unusual things like, oh, you're going that way, I'll just stop in front of where you're going. There is no timing with these vehicles. They will stop when you don't want them to. Okay, 117 is to our right. Possibly right at the international export. What is this? Maypole import and exports. Okay, I'm going to pull the map up just so I can see where I am going, because I have no clue. Yeah, that looks good actually. And that'll give us access. We can just drive farm tracks all the way across to the west till we get to the sawmill. And then we'll need to cross the road to get to... yeah, that was the way. This is the way. So yeah, we'll, still no rain. And no crops on this field either. Oh, and there's a farm track along the bottom. Maybe I should have done this from the top of the field rather than the bottom. Or not. No, actually. This is kind of the worst edge. So that rack of trees up in front of us is by the lake, I believe. And if we follow the farm track through there, we come to the sawmill. Which, if you're watching Disturbed Simulations Maypole series, is where his farm is based. He knocked out the sawmill and put his little farm in there. And then he just bought the area that my arable farm's at. Because why not? Ooh. Still not raining. Well, we'll get this job done while we can, I guess. I think this is probably the first time in any of my Saturday series that I've actually included a Fendt tractor on a farm. We usually start out with the Fendt harvester, which again we did this series. I rented harvesters for the first couple of years, I think we've already done 6 harvests. We then bought a used Fendt harvester for the next couple of years, but it was 8,600 grain tank and a fairly narrow header, so we've upgraded that to the class Trion, which it's the smallest model, so only 10,000 litre tank. And I'm kind of thinking maybe I should have paid for the upgrade, although with the Trion that's not too bad. We bought the base model on cheap because it was on sale. And I definitely learned right at the beginning, if you're buying a piece of used equipment, you always get it always offers it to you with the smallest engine. If you want a bigger engine, buy the bigger engine, the biggest engine you think you want, because if it's 2,000 to upgrade the engine one stage, and then 5,000 to the second stage and 10,000 to the third stage, you either pay 10,000 buy the biggest engine, or you buy 2,000 to upgrade it once, 5,000 to upgrade it again, and 10,000 to upgrade it again. You end up paying 17,000. That's a bad deal. And the only reason you might be doing that is thinking, I can get away with the engine size, the smallest engine size, and then you discover, actually, no, I can't. Or, there should be no other reason for doing that. So our little Massey Ferguson has a 125 horsepower engine. You can get it with a 145, but all of the equipment I use in the animal farm is less than 125 horsepower. So it just made sense to buy the smallest engine I could get away with, because it makes maintenance cheaper. But if I was running it on a mower that needed 120 horsepower, with the hills around that farm on the grass fields, I should, 145 would be the amount of horsepower I should put on that tractor. But as I said, 125 was the adequate estimate, so that's what we did on that one. This one, I could take it up to 147 horsepower. We've only got, 247 horsepower. We've only got 228. And I figured I didn't have to pay the extra 20,000 to do that last